Hi everyone! I know that we're in January now, but it's better late than never. I meant to review this Christmas book obviously before Christmas, and I just never got round to it, and I completely forgot about it until today. So here I am. Hopefully this will help you in buying your Christmas books for the next Christmas to come. So this is All the Colours of Christmas. It is Maria Troll's Christmas book, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's exactly the same size, shape and format as her most recent books, like Artista. I only have the Swedish version, so I find it very difficult to pronounce the names, but I do have reviews of them all on the channel if you want to go have a look. Anyway, this is the Christmas one. All the Colours of Christmas is what it translates into. It is a hardback. It has some rose gold foiling to the frame and also to a couple of little stars on there as well. It's very high quality, and there's the other three that are the same size, shape, format, quality as this one. These are her older titles and they're slightly bigger, bit different. So yes, let's get into it. Okay, so All the Colours of Christmas. I've just been testing a little bit of a blue pencil on there, it looks like. Like I said, I've had this book for a couple of months and completely forgot to show it, which is really bad. But anyway, better late than never. So I have translated this intro from Maria, and I'll read it now. I remember childhood Christmas as a time filled with anticipation, joy, and warmth. We would craft and create our own decorations to hang on the tree. The smell of gingerbread in the oven and saffron spread throughout the house. The excitement of what will be hiding in the packages under the tree, learning all the atmospheric Christmas carols by heart, and walking in the Lucia procession in front of teary-eyed parents. The excitement, the longing, and the feeling that Santa and all his elves were definitely real, even if sometimes you sensed a familiar face behind the Santa mask on Christmas Eve. Now, as an adult, what I'm most looking forward to is getting together with loved ones and driving in the winter darkness. Light candles and a fire in the stove and cook something delicious together. Breathe out and enjoy that Christmas decorations are finished and the home sparkles and shimmers with Christmas spirit and magic. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and many moments of calm and colourful creation. So that was the translation that I got. It might not be entirely accurate, but that's the gist of it. Yeah, Christmas is just great, isn't it? I always think that the lead up is the best bit. The actual day, I find a bit of an anticlimax, especially now the kids have grown up. When they were younger, and the excitement for Christmas and unwrapping the presents, coming down and seeing what's under the tree, when that was there, it was the best thing ever. I couldn't even sleep on Christmas Eve because I couldn't wait to see the kids' faces. And now they're older, they're 19, almost 20, and 17, and it's just not the same. I just wish I could go back to those days. So if you do have young children at the moment, please cherish and savour it, because it will be over so quickly. They'll be grown up and the magic will be gone, which is really morbid and sad, but it's just true. Okay, let's get into the book. So it is a single-sided book, as Maria's last few books have been, and that's great because you can use whatever you want on it. You don't have to worry about the kind of illustration on the other side because there isn't one. So here we go. The paper itself is quite smooth. It does have a slight tooth to it, and I've been colouring with Prismas on it, and you can definitely feel that there is, you know, a bit of a build-up once you've got a few layers on there. So it is more smooth than it is toothy, but you can still colour it. You'll see my examples later on. So this is the first illustration, Claire. Stop waffling, get into it. We've got a circular scene with the northern lights and a little cosy cottage nestled in the foothills, and then some smoke coming out, some water in the distance, and a cute little fox sitting watching over the whole scene. Then we have a stocking with a cute little squirrel wrapped around it, some presents inside, and some little stars and flourishes around there. You could probably do something different with the background of this one. Some of the illustrations in this book are a bit more centered and don't take up the entire page. Now, for some people, that is a bad thing because they love the page to be taken up with details and they don't want to feel like it's just little images centered. But there is a pretty good variety in the book. So there are some more detailed pieces, but I would say focally that they normally are these kind of encapsulated pieces in the center. So you don't have to do anything in the background. And if the backgrounds are not your thing and you're a little bit daunted by them, then you should love this book. So we've got a lovely Christmas tree decorated with baubles, candy canes and candles. And then we have this wooden, what would you call this? So it's obviously a horse-like creature, but I'm wondering, is it something different? Is it something maybe from Swedish folklore? Is it a decoration that is culturally relevant? Do you normally have these kind of wicker or wooden animals out as decorations on Christmas? I'd love for anyone to tell me if you know. Then we've got a lovely little fireplace, very cozy, all the candles on top. There's Santa blowing out the match. We've got the Christmas tree presents, a little elf, or well, it kind of looks like a little Santa, really. And then a cat just keeping one eye on him, seeing what's going on. Is he ready to pounce? I don't know. But then we've got, you know, the fireplace, which you can do a lot with because you can practice your casting light, the shadows and everything like that if you wanted to. So this is a simple one. It is a little bunch of mistletoe with an elf hanging on there. Again, it's simple. There's not much to it, but that means that you can use a really limited colour palette and utilise that really well on this. You don't have a lot of different things to colour. It is one focal point. And then we have got a little scene. And this is a snow scene with some robins or different birds. We've got a cluster of, is this wheat? Or yeah, I think it's wheat, isn't it? And the girl looking on. So I guess the birds are sort of picking off little pieces of wheat and having their breakfast. Like I said, it's not too much in detail. There is a variety in the book. So some pages will be more detailed than others, but you still kind of always have this outline, this background area that you can do something with if you want. But what I like about it is you've got all the frames and the illustrations usually pop out of the frames. So that really makes it look a bit more dimensional and fill the page slightly more and make this frame look intentional. You know, it's not just that it's a square around the illustration. The illustration is, the composition is popping out and off of the square, rectangle, whatever. And then we have a little skating elf that's doing a bit of a skiing down the branch here. We've got some apples, so that'd be a good opportunity to try and colour maybe a little bit more realistic apples. You've got a lot of space to work from. And then we've got a cute, cosy scene of a girl reading a book. This is how I like to lie on the settee as well. And she's got the moon and the stars outside, the little candelabra, and it's just a nice little domestic scene. Bit more detail on this one. So we've got lots and lots of baubles on the Christmas tree. It is a close-up snapshot of some of the branches of this tree and what's going on here. So we've got the bird, obviously, and we've got a little mouse nicking a candy cane. Now, don't even speak to me about mice because I've been struggling with mice in my house for the last few months, and it is wearing on my last nerve. I cannot stand the little things. And, you know, however cute they are on illustration, I just cannot appreciate that at the moment because the mice are just, we're battling them at the moment. But anyway, way to bring the book down. Geez, right, okay. So we've got a couple of deer, looks like a mum and baby maybe, and they're looking up at the shooting star in the sort of nighttime outside area. Then we've got more of a drawn out, zoomed out sort of forestry scene where you can see the cabin with the snow on the roof and obviously more trees, more hills, and there's the two deer as well. Then we have a little snowman scene. This one's really nice actually. You can imagine this not taking very long. None of these images are going to take you very long really, you know, and that's a good thing in my book because a lot of detail sometimes to me it just feels very it's just too much and I can't limit my colour palette properly because there's too many different types of things to colour and they all wouldn't have the same colour. So recently I did a image in Romantic Country. I think it was number 1. I don't know, probably number 2 or 3, I don't know. But you'll have seen it on my Instagram and it is a room with lots of potions and it basically looks like a Harry Potter scene, or at least that's how I took it. So I coloured it in Ravenclaw, blue and gold. And pretty much everything was coloured in those colours. There were a few jars and things that I changed it up a bit, but I definitely tried to use desaturated colours rather than bright. So say if I was colouring a potion bottle in a pink, I would not be colouring it hot pink. I will be colouring it more like a mahogany, very deep, very desaturated. Anyhow, that's what I mean about detail. If there's too many little things, like in what was Johanna's Rooms of Wonder. Love the book, love Joanna's illustration, no doubt about it, but there's just so many little things to colour. I just find that I can't keep my page cohesive, and you definitely can with this book. So it definitely has its pros and its cons. It depends, you know, what you like. But anyway, snowman scene. Going on a lot here. I'm definitely going to have the just flip through the books and stop talking people coming at me in the comments. There's always a few of them. So here we've got a scene that actually is encapsulated inside a rectangle, and it looks very much like a Christmas stamp. And I think I might want to do something with that. So maybe draw the frilled edges of a stamp. Should be quite easy to draw, even for me. A bit of shading around it and make it look like an actual postage stamp. I think that would be a really good idea for this one. This is a brilliant one. So this reminds me of another one that was in Maria's last book. I think I coloured it, didn't I? Or am I getting mixed up with Hannah Carlson's? Because these sort of Christmassy food shacks are in both of those books. So Hannah Carlson's got them and Maria Troll's got them. So I can't remember if I coloured one of Maria's or not. But anyway, so this is really nice. Again, there are lots of different elements on this, but you can definitely keep this limited and cohesive. That is to say, you might want to colour everything rainbow, blue sky, pink polka dots, you know, and that is totally up to you. That is your prerogative. And I do love colouring, you know, a rainbow explosion sometimes. I absolutely adore it. But I don't know. Sometimes I just lose the page and I think it gets lost in the detail and lost in the different colours. And this one you can definitely make sure that's cohesive. You've got a wooden shack, so you've got your brown, which is a neutral colour, won't sort of take away from anything else going on. And yeah, all your different sweets and things. You can, like I say, you don't even have to use the bright colours in the set. You can think about maybe using some tints or some desaturated tones in there. Doesn't have to be just primary colours. And then we've got another jar of sweets. So this could be like a close-up. We've had a couple of those in this book where you see a large scene and then a bit of a close-up. So maybe this could be just that little bit of close-up from this that you need, because you've got this little elf girl here. And then here she is, a lot more detailed and closer up. We've got the elf girl carrying some gifts. Not much to say about this one. You can practice some soft pastel clouds on this because you've got a bit of a dotted outline guiding you where to go if you wanted to. Another little circular scene that is kind of open-ended and finished off by the illustration itself. Again, just a couple of little elves, a little fox, and some decorations. I think this might be a good book to try some mixed media on. Like I said, the paper is quite smooth, but it's thick. And, you know, when you've got larger spaces, it gives you a little bit more incentive to try some different things. You know, maybe get some paint on there and, I don't know, just pastel and things like that, and just give it a go. You know, it gives you a little bit more, I think, encouragement to try new things when you've got a lot of space. So this is a reindeer close up. Love it. Look at the snow bells, jingle bells around his collar. And what is she doing? Looks like she's polishing his antlers. So he's having a Christmas cookie. He's happy. This one is slightly more detailed because you've got a lot of quite tight line work. So you've got the fir branches behind the two bells, which is the main focal point of the image. Then you've got the two angels. But again, this could be done in a very limited colour palette. Green, yellow, bit of red or purple for the berries. Emulate those colours in the angels and it will be fantastic. I did a post recently about a page that I coloured from... it was a Mrs. Buttered Patreon page. I absolutely love Mrs. Buttered's artwork. And I coloured it, and it was a Super Mario themed mushroom girl. And people were just so nice about how I'd coloured it and so complimentary that I wrote a little post about how I came up with the composition of where to put the colours, how to keep it cohesive, limited, and, you know, which bits to highlight and focus on and which bits I wanted to fade more in the background, things like that. And people will really seem to be appreciative of me breaking down something that is quite instinctual for me at this point. And I think, yeah, like I say, people really appreciated that. So if that is something you would like me to do a video on, because I know sometimes reading posts and stuff, you can't really get the gist. I can definitely do that. I've written it all up already, you know, for the post. So I can definitely do that if that's something you want to find out more about. But anyway, back to the book. So I have a close-up of a girl here with bells and ribbons in her hair. And again, this could be a postage stamp. None of the illustration is creeping out of the lines at the edge. So I think that's quite a cool idea, actually. I just come up with it off the huff. And I think I might have a go at that, maybe next Christmas. So this is, again, a rather simple scene. We have a snow-topped castle in the hills and Santa and his reindeer flying by overhead. We've got some of the Northern Lights detail back from the start of the book, but this time we have a polar bear. This one I feel will be quite a good one because there's not a lot of detail. To colour your Northern Lights, I do have a tutorial for that if you want to have a look, and then sort of try and highlight the edges of the polar bear and the little girl's hat and her face and this bit of her arm in the colours of the Northern Lights, and just get that little bit of reflective light going on. I think that'd be quite easy to do for any beginners who are like, I've got no clue what to do with lights and shades. Just, you know, colour that in your greens and blues and really kind of bright colours, and then just do the very edges. And it really does work, you know. Here's the one that I've coloured, so I'll just lift it up in case you've got the glare. And yeah, this is Santa's little, I guess, toy room where all of the elves are packing the good little girls and boys Christmas toys for Christmas. Had a lot of fun colouring it. I did go rainbow wild on this, as you can see. Now, the reason I did this is because I wanted each shelf to be a different colour. Now, I know what I've said, all of that guff about limited colour palettes, blah, blah, blah. But because the context of this picture is a child's sort of playroom, toy room type feel, it had to have a lot of colour. So, you know, go with the context of the page as well and what the illustration is saying to you. So the first thing I did was colour the background in each of these blocks to be rainbow colours. And then I thought, what am I going to do with the background? Because I can't make it rainbow bright like this is. So I thought I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to do what I said earlier and bring some tints in. So this is a rainbow. It's very, very light red. It's very light orange, a very deco sort of yellow colour. Then you go into a light greeny blue and a blue at the bottom, like a powder blue. It is still a rainbow, but it is a very soft rainbow. So it goes together. I wanted to make it, again, cohesive as much as I could do. So I gave them all the same colour outfits. I emulated colours from the presents throughout, and then the carpet was red. I don't know why I did that. Probably because this red is right up here at the top of the illustration, and I thought that would tie it in, you know, tie the bottom to the top and just make it look like a whole piece. So yeah, I forgot to do the stars on this, I've just noticed. Oh well. Happy accident. Right, and then see how many colouring pages we've got in this. Is a lot to go through. So we've got a big bag full of presents and the little girl peeking out from behind. Got another close-up. This time it's a side profile with a really nice little headband sort of made of flowers and the candles sticking up from that headdress. Beautiful. We've got some choir singers, carol singers, whatever you want to call them, stood outside. They're holding a little candle. I remember when we used to do this. I went to Catholic schools growing up and obviously went to mass a lot. And I remember, when was it that we used to hold the candle? Was it Christmas? Or was it a different time? I don't know. But we used to hold the candle and it'd have like a paper thing around it so the wax didn't get on your hands. That's just reminded me of that. I've not thought about that for years. And we've got the little creatures and things just looking on, the shooting stars. There's a lot of nighttime scenes in this, I've noticed. We've got the little elf riding the squirrel to deliver her present. She's got to go quick, quick, quick. We've got a very sweet little bear and his cubs, or her cubs, nestled in this hollow underneath the mountain. And I love all of the decorations and lights that are strung up in the trees. This is a nice scene. Again, it's quite similar to a scene that we had earlier with the Santa and the reindeer flying overhead. This time we've got a cabin with a little ribbon on the door and some trees. Lots and lots of snow colouring to be done in this book, which is fairly easy, so that's pretty good. We've got another portrait. This is probably my favourite portrait. It definitely shows more of the face and more of the expression. You can do a lot more with it, sort of skin-wise, and the hair's very, oh, well, I say it's not straight, it's wavy, but the hair's very easy to colour. So that's good, and I like the frame. It's a different kind of frame as well. Here's another close-up Christmas tree scene. This time we've got loads of presents, so that'd be great for using your glitter gel pens on the ribbons, doing those little details. And we've got the cat licking his paw. Lots of cats in the book. Here's another one. We've got the candles and the baubles. The cat is looking a little bit mischievous. He's looking up at these decorations and thinking, I could very easily just bat one of them. Will he? Won't he? Is he innocent? I don't know. You decide. We've got a gingerbread house with some candy canes outside and the little fairy girl on the top licking her lips. She's got hold of one of the sweets from the roof and she's never going to be seen up there, is she? She can have a little bite of it. No one will ever know. We've got a really fun one. So this is a gingerbread family and a gingerbread tree cookie. This would be good to practice your biscuit sort of textures and things like that. Cute little in front of the window scene. We've had a couple of those in the book. This one, she is holding a lovely warm cup of hot chocolate. She's got her fluffy socks on just like I do right now. It is snowing. I'm looking out at my garden. It is full of snow. Buddy absolutely loves it. I put some pictures of him up on my story on Instagram yesterday. If you've seen it, you know, but yeah, loves it. So we have some candles. Again, these are a little bit bigger so you can practice that sort of waxy look. Might be an idea to use a wax crayon or a Prismacolor white just to do some details on them first, and then maybe go over with a really light coloured watercolour wash and you will see those waxy bits sort of resist on there. We've got a little circular scene again, but this one is quite zoomed out. So you can see the house in distance, the sun setting, I guess, or the moon rising, and the little fox walking across the snow. Here we've got a little elf sledding down the mountain or down the hill, and she's got a present on her back. Again, I think they're just delivering to everybody this Christmas. Helping Santa out, you can see. And here he is, the main man himself, with his sack full of gifts, walking through the snow. And there you go. That's the end of the book. Again, so sorry it's taken me this long to actually review it. It's just one of those things that was a bit of an oversight. Completely forgot about it. And then remembered and realised and thought, oh no, I've got to get this done ASAP. So yes, I hope you loved it. I will leave a link in the description. I got my book from iMusic, I think. No, wait, I'm getting confused with Hannah Carlson again. I think Maria's publisher sent me this book, but I believe it is on iMusic. So I will leave the link for wherever you can get it. There will be an English version. I think that might be on Amazon for pre-order already. Anyhow, I'll leave the links in the description so you can look at them at your leisure. Let me know what you think of the book. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and I will see you very soon on Colour with Claire.